Today, we are going to call a spade a spade. We are going to look at two figures in hip hop media and just call out some hypocrisy, skewed coverage, misinformed coverage, and what I really have to call inauthentic. Now, this is all love. I'm just calling it how I see it because sometimes things just don't make sense and they don't align to me because the things that people say aren't really matching up with their actions. Now, these are not personal attacks at all. I have love for people who are in this industry and do this for a living because it's not an easy job. But again, we must call a spade a spade. And when I see something, I'm going to say something. And we're going to look at two particular instances. We're going to look at now we are going to look at two platforms in particular. The first, the Joe Budden podcast, which is the #1 podcast in hip hop media. The second is the Bigger Picture with Elliot Wilson, DJ Head, and Jeremy Hecht. Now, what I noticed on these two platforms wasn't just this week. This has been going on for a year or more, where they're not giving fair coverage. They're being hypocrites, and I think that has to do with their bias, but it's really just seeping out more and more, and people are beginning to pick up on it. Now, again, these are not personal attacks. This is not me picking at them. This is just me noticing something and speaking on it. I love both platforms. I watch them weekly, but these things have to be called out and discussed because it's just too obvious. Now, the first clip we are going to look at is from the Joe Budden podcast, where they are talking about a battle rap. It went down last weekend between Murda Mook and Hitman Holla. And they're going to talk about the subject area that Hitman Holla chose to lead with and how they felt it was inappropriate. So let's listen to it.
It was weird seeing Hitman go the expose route.
Yeah, mudslinging.
That was weird for me because I've never pictured him as one of the battlers that need to do that.
Now he's talking about what Hitman Holla led with, which were a bunch of allegations and trying to bring up paperwork in the middle of a battle rap, and it confused them. It confused me as well. But let's keep listening.
But he spent an entire round, third round at that,
and teased it in the first couple rounds.
I mean, posted on Instagram mid-round.
Yeah,
it was just a lot. It was a lot. It didn't hit like he expected it to hit.
For me, that lost in the battle to me. I mean, I see everybody running around talking about Mook 30 them. For me, that angle, saying those things, saying what he said about Mook.
So now Joe doesn't like him saying particular things about him that had to do with maybe some allegations. And what he was basically saying was they aren't allegations. They're confirmed that maybe Mook was doing some things that weren't particularly appropriate with women. Does this sound familiar to anyone at all? Let's keep listening.
Posting what he posted on Instagram as if that was proof of what was being said. It's like, you saying too much wild shit for niggas to not have vetted. Like,
wow.
To do this in the name of a battle. Like, and I know that's what battle rappers do.
So you were confused because he was presenting information as if it was fact, but the information wasn't vetted and there was no truth to it. And you said you understand this is what battle rappers do, but you didn't think it was in bounds. You thought it was not fair and you thought it should have lost him the battle. Interesting.
That was disgusting.
That was nasty a little bit.
That was unless it's all true. Now, if it's all true, then I come back, I have a whole different opinion. But I don't know that, and I don't know that about Mook. So I didn't like it.
So let's recap this. Again, I have to go into it. So you're saying that you didn't like what he did because you don't know Murda Mook to be that kind of person. You didn't like what he did because there was no proof. And even though it was a battle rap, you felt it was out of bounds. So how can you apply this logic to a real case of a battle, right? There's no bots, there's no label involvement, there's no money being put behind it. It's just two people on stage engaging in verbal warfare, but you felt it was out of bounds and everyone agreed with you. But when it came down to a similar situation, just on a grander scale, with the same allegation, with no proof that you know isn't true because you actually know Drake personally, you felt it was okay. I mean, you guys felt it was so okay that you danced to it. I mean, at least you acknowledge that you know bots played a part in it, but no one said it was out of bounds. Not one person on that platform said it was out of bounds. So we have to call out the hypocrisy here. There's a clear double standard because of the players involved. If it were anyone else, you guys would say the same thing. But because it was Drake, no one wanted to talk about it. Everything was fair. These are the things that we have to discuss, because what went on in the last year in rap music was crazy, and people justified it. And again, what Drake said was out of bounds, speaking about Kendrick's children, and what Kendrick said was out of bounds. So this doesn't just apply to one party, it applies to both. But the media bears a responsibility, because you can't call it out for one party and not call it out for the other. And now we could talk about the bigger picture. And this tweet comes from the Stop TV. Danny, I watch a lot of his work as well. He's very tapped into all the major hip hop podcasts. He's actually shown love to my channel as well, so salute to him. He asked a good question. He said, why does Elliot Wilson's pod not have a Drake fan on it? That's how a debate show should be. They have an echo chamber. I think the pod would get so many more views if it had someone to rep the other side. Such an easy fix. And I agree with what he's saying. In my last video, I talked about this. I know what each person on that show is going to say when it comes to Drake before I even hear them talk. It's too predictable. And Jeremy went on and responded, which I respect. He said, Drake is literally one of my favorite artists of all time. I just haven't liked a lot of his moves/music since the battle, which is when we started the show. Whenever someone gets called out for being biased, their favorite opening line is, I'm a Drake fan, or I'm the biggest Drake fan, or you don't even know how much of a fan I am. Yeah, whatever, bro. I don't buy that. Actually, I do buy that you're a fan, but I don't buy that you are being unbiased in your coverage. How many times do I watch this show and people are afraid to give him props for anything? You guys just did a whole show talking about his rollout, and not one person was there who could even acknowledge that the rollout is going well. Y'all said, stop the rollout, stop the music, stop the lawsuit. You guys were questioning if Drake has even had a hit. Has he had a hit? Like, what are we talking about here? It just doesn't make any sense at all. Like, I really don't have the words for it because it's been going on so long. How can I even address this in a fair way? I mean, has he had a hit and you haven't liked the music? Let's take a look at this right here. Drake's Nokia is now the most streamed song released by any rapper on Spotify in 2025. Now, I remember there were a lot of people questioning, was Nokia a hit? There were a lot of people questioning, can Drake release a song with staying power? I mean, one of the quotes from the show last week was, how is Drake going to have a successful song or album if he's suing his label? Well, would you look at the evidence on the screen? Would you look at it? How can you refute that? Let's take a look at this as well. Let's see what Joe had to say about it, because Joe was vocal. Let's see what he said.
Those 4 songs, special records.
You can identify when something is doing well. Like it's doing, I can see why it's doing well.
I see why it's moving, but
Gotcha.
UMG ain't paying for it. So, I mean, that's coming out of
UMG isn't paying for it.
somebody else's pocket. It ain't going to be around long.
Would you look at that, Joe? It's been around a long time, since February, and we are now in September. It's around. And you made a key point. UMG might not be paying for it. There's no bots on it, right? Why would they use bots during a lawsuit where he's saying that they use bots to inflate another song? If he were to use bots, or if they were to use bots, that would kind of prove his whole point, that it's manipulated. So I think this would be what's called an organic hit. I mean, even when an album released, people were saying that Give Me a Hug was supposed to be the song, but the people chose Nokia. You see, people are scared to acknowledge when Drake is doing something well. I don't know why. I mean, maybe you guys can answer that for me, but the hypocrisy has to stop. There's a different standard, and that's okay, because when you're the top rapper in the game, people hold you to a higher standard. But the standard can't be like this. Like, what you say is acceptable from one person, he's not allowed to do. The achievements that he gets, if other people were to do it, people would be screaming from the mountaintop to recognize it. And those are the things that are not fair. And when we talk about hip hop media, this is the problem with it. It's too biased. When people question why he didn't go to a hip hop outlet or a hip hop media source, why would he? When you can't acknowledge when the guy does something good, should he walk into a situation that's a lose-lose? Why would he do that again? He did it in a battle, it was a lose-lose. Why would he walk into an interview that's a lose-lose? Maybe if the coverage shifts, maybe that might see a change. But hey, People saying I'm biased for Drake. I just call out hypocrisy when I see it. So let me know what you think in the comments. Are they being hypocritical or are they being fair? Should Drake come with an olive branch, or should they come with an olive branch to him and piece it up and sit down and talk? I don't know. These are things that I had to call out. But if you guys say I'm wrong, then let me know in the comments.